Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. If you want to, you may leave your camera on, but you could also put it black if you want to still have your lunch break, or if you have to do something else. Yeah, but more and more people are coming. Welcome, willkommen to the tourism session. Oh, I hope you all had a wonderful morning and a nice lunch break, and are now happy to share with us some ideas of the tourism industry. Oh, there's a team joining, Steffi Breuer and team.
Entschuldigung, das wollte ich nicht.
Das ist doch gut. Alles gut. Wer ist denn da?
Hier sitzt Stadt Fehmarn. Jetzt sind wir auch sind.
Fehmarn, super. Schöne Grüße nach Fehmarn.
So macht er sich bekannt. Dankeschön. Ja. Du musst immer mal aufstehen.
I have a look at the participant list. How wonderful to have you all with us. I see Eike Christian Fock from Lübeck. Wonderful to have you with us. Then we have more people to join. Great. But we have 2 o'clock. It's sharp, the sharp time to start our session. Hello and moin, dear ladies and gentlemen from all over the world. A warm welcome from sunny Kiel in Schleswig-Holstein. My name is Bettina. I'm CEO of the Schleswig-Holstein Tourism Board and Convention Bureau, and here in Germany, and I'm the moderator of this panel discussion. We will have a live and lively discussion. If you want to comment or ask anything, please do not hesitate to use the chat at the end of this session or even in between. I will try to keep up with the questions, but I'm sorry if I may not catch everything at this at the right time. Normally, we would be all on stage and then talking to you in the audience. And I'm just wondering where you are all from. So please, just quick, write down your city, your region, your state in the chat that we know where you are all from. Great. We have from Stockholm to Lübeck, from Scharbeutz to Großen Brode to Eutin, Bad Segeberg, Fehmarn, Gothenburg, Göll, Hamburg, Kiel. Great. Yeah, wonderful. Please keep on all that are joining. Please do not hesitate to tell us where you are from, that we know what we are, whom we are talking to. Now, I have the great honor to introduce to you my wonderful speakers. Ladies first. Katja Lauritsen is the CEO of the Ostsee-Holstein Tourismus. That means the Baltic Sea Tourism Organization here in Schleswig-Holstein. She is dealing with Hansebelt, the Fehmarn Belt Link, and the tourism of the whole Baltic Sea region since quite some decades. She's a wonderful close colleague of mine. Herzlich willkommen, liebe Katja.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be with you.
Second, I will move over to the other side of the Baltic Sea. Let's move to Denmark on the other side of the Baltic Sea and say hey to Martin Bender. He's the CEO of the destination Sydkyst, Denmark. He will tell us about the many opportunities of the Fehmarn Belt, of the fixed Fehmarn Belt link for the Sydkyst Denmark region. Velkommen, kære Martin.
Mange tak, Bettina. I love your strong energy. I mean, you could be hosting a show Saturday night. I hope my participants agree. So thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm looking very much forward to this panel debate.
Thank you. Now I'm honored to introduce to you Daniel Beutler. He's an international railway expert, had been responsible for the inauguration of the high-speed train line from Hamburg to Copenhagen, and will talk about the fixed Fehmarn Belt link as an opportunity for the whole region from the traffic or infrastructure perspective. He now lives in the city of Mölln, I guess, in Schleswig-Holstein. Herzlich willkommen, lieber Daniel.
Well, thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Last but not least, our dear colleague Melanie Kempermann from our beautiful metropolis, Hamburg. She is head of marketing of the unique and still new Elbphilharmonie Hamburg. You will see later why her long-term campaign is a role model or best practice for the fixed Fehmarn Belt link construction site. Since Friday, everyone can visit the plaza, and I think she's opening more today or tonight. Herzlich willkommen, liebe Melanie.
Thank you very much. Yes, we are all in a very good mood today because it's going to be our reopening concert tonight. And so we are really excited.
Wonderful. So let's start. We have 47 participants at the moment. I'm very happy. Thanks you all for joining. And now we will start with Daniel. As an railway expert, why is the fixed Fehmarn Belt link an opportunity for the whole region? What's your transportation perspective? How we connect Schleswig-Holstein and Denmark, or maybe Europe or the world? You even have a map with us, with you to visualize the matter. Go on, dear Daniel.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, thanks all for being with us. It's a pleasure to be here and to speak about that topic. And actually, we couldn't have chosen a better year because the European Commission has said that 2021 is the year of railway. And therefore, this project really goes into this big context of it all. And we thought to illustrate that a bit better, we're going to put that into perspective a bit. And let's talk about Europe first, because as you can tell, the fixed Fehmarn Belt link is important for the whole of Europe. And you can tell how it fits into that, right? Because it is really the most important link between, you could say, Scandinavia and the rest of Europe. Obviously, there is the Great Belt, but the Great Belt will not be as fast in the future. And I will talk more about in a second, but just to illustrate that. And why is that important to see it that way? First of all, because even cities like Berlin or even Frankfurt, but also in the north, Stockholm and other cities who seem very far away for that region, they will be pretty close in the future. And that is really important to keep in mind. And if you think that way, then also somebody flying into Europe and let's say landing in Frankfurt or landing in Stockholm or even in Paris in the future, traveling into that region, it will bring that region, especially northern Germany and southern Denmark, on that map again. And that has a huge, huge impact on tourism in the future. Now, if we take a closer look, I wanted to go a step back, look at where we stand today and take a look into the future. Step back, because like Bettina said, I was lucky enough to introduce the high-speed train at times, the Intercity Express in 2007 between Hamburg and Copenhagen. And actually, I have to correct myself right away because it wasn't really a high-speed train, because it was a diesel ICE, because it wasn't even electrified. And by the way, in parts, it's still not electrified. And it was an absolutely tremendous project because the way that it goes, obviously, the train goes on the ferry between Puttgarden and Redby, and then continues its journey. And it's a journey that today still takes 4 hours, 45 or 40 minutes. So it's very, very long. At times, it was interrupted with the ferry trip, but still, you have to love taking the train in order to do that. And what happened ever since is that the train doesn't go on the ferry anymore. And by the way, they have stopped the ICE service. Now it's an intercity from DSB, from the Danish railway. And the train goes all the way up, as you can see on this map, over Flensburg, and then it does the Great Belt, which is the only, the only steady line today where you have a bridge towards Copenhagen. So it goes 150 kilometers detour today to Copenhagen, and it still has the same travel time of 4 hours, 40 minutes. The problem is that it only runs 2 or 3 times a day. And as a result, what happened is SAS started flying again from Copenhagen to Hamburg. It's 25 minutes, just to put that in a context. And even EasyJet before Corona flew quite steadily between Hamburg and Copenhagen several times a day. And that's really a shame, we should say, for everything that we're trying to do also in a climate perspective, but also from a tourism perspective, this is really unfortunate. And if you now take a look, what is going to happen? And by the way, I wrote a thesis at times, it was in 2005 or something, about the Fehmarn Belt crossing, at times it was called. And at times it was supposed to be a bridge. And then it was supposed to be a bridge in combination with a tunnel, and now it's a tunnel. And by the way, it was supposed to be already live almost, but 2029 it is now. Constructions have started officially, so that is great. And look at the travel times. The car will not be much faster. It probably will be 30 minutes faster. But if you take Hamburg to Copenhagen in the future, it will almost be cut by half, from 4 hours, 40 minutes to 2.5 hours. So that is absolutely competitive time. And if you then take a look from Berlin, for example, it's going to be 4 hours to Copenhagen. But the most important thing, and now I'm going to come to the opportunity for tourism in the future, is there are 3 things that we shouldn't underestimate. First of all, because it will be entirely electrified, also the hinterland routes and also the traffic in northern Germany around it, and also the traffic in southern Denmark around it, they will become faster and they will be electrified. Comfort will be higher, which is super important, and trains can be much longer. Today, due to the ferry, it was limited, but in the future, there can be long train sets. There will be more tact. And what it means is that northern Germany will have the impact from the rest of Germany coming into that region. Southern Denmark, same thing, will have not only the effects coming from Germans or even Swedish people into that region, but it will be faster from Copenhagen to get to southern Denmark. That is really, really important to keep in mind. And then you have the effect that a lot of people coming from, let's say, south of Hamburg or north of Copenhagen at one point just might stop in the region for a day or 2. So you have 3 huge impacts, not even mentioning what I said earlier, that you might have people flying into that region in the future, and to stay there a day or 2. So it's a completely new universe almost in terms of traveling, in terms of tourism for that region. And you see other areas where that happened. For example, Hamburg, Berlin at times was 3.5 hours. And then now it's 90 minutes. So it is comparable to, let's say, Ringsted to Oldenburg, for example, which is important. And by the way, what I should have mentioned is all of the cities for now are planned to still be served in the future, by the new high-speed train. So that is important. And you have up to, well, between Hamburg and Berlin, it's been, I think, 3 times more travelers on the rail. But prognosis today are that you will have around about 50% more passengers into that region on rail. And then it's up for destination marketing, for tourism marketing, obviously, to do the necessary to keep them, staying overnight, staying, somewhere in between and not just flying by to Copenhagen. But I think that is a very, very fair chance. Because if you have the tech, if you have better trains, longer trains, more capacity, then this is going to be a huge opportunity. And I think I'm going to stop there because that is really the most important context to give, and maybe leave some time for questions in the end on that topic.
Thank you so much, dear Daniel, for this wonderful overview. And thanks for stopping the presentation. You talked a lot about the advantages, about what is now going on. And I want to do a little bit more deep dive concerning the tourism perspective now, and hand over to Katja, who sees it from different aspects. Yeah, dear Katja, is the fixed Fehmarn Belt link just a positive subject? Is everyone happy now? Are all the Fehmarn people and the tourism colleagues and the inhabitants super optimistic? What are they optimistic about? But maybe what's also a little bit of a shadow? I would like to hand over to you to talk a little bit about your destination and the opportunities and maybe threats or challenges, not threats, challenges of the fixed Fehmarn Belt link.
Yeah, thank you, Bettina. Dear friends, I think I cannot tell about the opinion of all the people having about the fixed link, because they are totally different and everybody is having his own view and perspective. And of course, we are able to look on both things, on the things which will be opportunity, but also the things who would be a weak for us. But at the moment, I would like to look at more at the chances, more on the opportunities. So as I remember the speakers this morning, they invited us to look on how the fixed link can be a game changer. And I think this discussion already started in our region, because we have the dialogue forum of the fixed link, and there's a group which is talking about the opportunities. And of course, for the tourism, it's very important to describe the future for the next years, and there will be different opportunities for us. We very much hope that the positive effects will predominate and the tourism will benefit from the fixed link in the long term, as an investigation in an increase of 6.1 million euros in sales. So our appraiser says, and the opening of the fixed link will bring a big spotlight of our region, and therefore a great impact to the public. And hopefully the world, as you said, Bettina, will look on our region. In this context, it makes sense to place offers that helps the two countries grow together. And tourism can be a good opportunity of that. And I brought four aspects we can look after. I think a great opportunity is the segment cycling, the accessibility of the region, second, and additional demand we can get out of Denmark or Sweden. And in time of construction, there could be also some more tourism. And I would like to explain that a little bit more. As a positive topic that is currently in a great demand, cycling can help us to inspire new guests for our region between the metropolises and brings the region together. And I think that's important, because when cycling, the journey is often more the goal than the actual goal. It means the two big cities, Hamburg and Copenhagen. So exploring and getting to know the attractive region is also a sustainable and economically strengthening topic. So I would like to develop a bike route, for example, between Hamburg and Copenhagen, especially after the completion of the fixed link. We expect positive impulses for tourism. The better accessibility, as my colleague already said, is very important by rail. But for the region between, it is important to have enough stopovers so guests can hop on and hop off the train. And also the connection further, for example, not only the connection between Hamburg and Copenhagen is important, also the connection further on to Cologne or to other cities in Germany or in Sweden, so that people can travel in a good way and not stand for hours on a train station and waiting for the next train going on. So it's really important to have a good accessibility, and that means the whole journey. And very important to grab this opportunity, and we really will try to get our things ready to help being good available. So on the other hand, we expect additional demand, of course, arise from the source market of Denmark and Sweden in the day and short trip segment. Of course, we are already working on more guests from Denmark with our organizations, for example, with you, Bettina, or with Scandlines or the DCT, but nothing happened when nothing happens. Already somebody says this morning, and that's what we also say, because nobody is coming because of the tunnel. The people need to have nice and great offers and an attractive region. So we really have to spend money in marketing and to make campaigns to bring people to our region. Yeah, and at least the fixed link brings also the construction phase opportunities, and therefore we will talk on later, but this could also bring us some more guests. So that's at first, Bettina, I hope that's
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Katja. What I always adore about your speeches are they are pragmatic, they are concrete, and they give solutions. Yeah, and that's what we need, even in these sessions. Yeah, not talking blah blah, but talking down to earth, and not down to earth, but over the Baltic Sea. I will hand over to Martin, who is almost sitting in the Alps or somewhere in his wonderful Sydkust Denmark region, and who will have maybe a similar perspective on the opportunities of the fixed Fehmarnbelt link, or some additions to make. What kind of opportunities do you see? Is everything positive?
Is everything positive? That is a hypothetical question, I would say. It depends on the person and the person who asked. No, today the sun is shining, and it's really hard to be negative because we had a really tough May with a lot of rain and gray weather. So yes, the sun is shining, and what you can see behind me, I'm a little bit disappointed there, Bettina, because that is one of our most iconic tourist attraction in our destination called Møn, or the Cliffs of Møn. 60 million years old and very popular. They are about 130 meters high, and they can really create some beautiful lights in the sea below. But that is another story, or is it? Because I would just reflect a little bit on what Daniel and Katja said. Very interesting. Of course, we talk a lot about time and speed, and that is the positive factor with the fixed link, and I totally agree. But I don't see Hamburg and Copenhagen as the two end or goal areas or destinations. I think the Fehmarnbelt, so it's not about how fast can I go from one metropole to another metropole. I know it's also that, but for me, it's everything between. I mean, so it's when you go from Hamburg towards Copenhagen, how can that, how can the north of Germany and the south of Zealand benefit from this Fehmarnbelt link? And it can, of course it can, because I know you say, and I love train, of course I do, and it will be a fantastic and positive factor when we talk international tourism, because they don't go by car, they go by plane to Hamburg or Copenhagen, and then they have to take the train. I totally agree, Daniel. But if they want to go to the Cliffs of Møn, then they will take the train from, for example, Hamburg to Vordingborg, it's called, and then what? Public transportation to the outskirts are not as it should be. And I know, Daniel, you know that too. So we have a strong spinal between Hamburg and Copenhagen, but the infrastructure from that link is not as we wished for. So, and that is my link to Katja. You are so right, because they can actually take their bicycle with them in the train. So now they can go by bicycle from Vordingborg to the Cliffs of Møn. I'm only saying this, and of course with a smile on my face, but we love the train if we don't look at the rest of the public transportation infrastructure. I don't know how it is in Germany, but it's not very good in our area.
We have the same problem, my dear Martin. The hinterland is a problem. I don't even have a car, and it's so difficult to go from one place to the other, even in Schleswig-Holstein.
Yes. Today, Daniel, 96% of our guests come by car. Because our cities, I know that Copenhagen and Hamburg, that is a completely different story, but all the other attractions and small cities in the nature by the coast, you have to go by car. And people do that. So we have to find another solution to make and motivate people to go by train. And it has to be connected also with local transportation. But Katja, I would love to help you or work together with you. And we know each other, of course, Katja. I remember you went to Møn, yes, to create a Hamburg-Copenhagen bicycle track. We have Berlin, Copenhagen, and it's a huge success. We can easily make the Hamburg, Copenhagen. I would love to. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. I just want to go back a little bit to Daniel, because there was a question concerning the stopovers on the track. Yeah, when we saw your wonderful map and going and connecting the whole of Europe, how do you see the chances that we have even small stops in the region? Because that's something we are missing, and when there is a change of the rail system, we may have, there's the answer. We may have a subject to talk about. So, yeah. Dear Daniel.
No, absolutely. It's a very good question. I just mentioned that very quickly. So obviously, I'm not a representative of Deutsche Bahn nor of DSB who are going to run the train in cooperation. But from what I've known, what I've read, and also from my former colleagues of Deutsche Bahn, I don't know, maybe somebody's in the chat and or in the forum and can answer that question more precisely. From what I hear, the stops were the former ICE stops. So that, for example, there would be Lübeck, there would be Oldenburg and Holstein. And obviously Puttgarden at times, and Redby, and all the other stations in Denmark. They're supposed to be kept that way. So there's no plan for now to not stop there all the time. But let's be completely honest, if it would bring down travel times by, let's say, another 15 minutes, and you have a very high takt, there could be trains that don't stop everywhere. So that will always be a discussion. But for now, also what I see from where electrification takes place, and how they kind of build out the platforms, it is considered to stop there. And I think that's exactly where it gets interesting, to answer to Katja and Martin, because these trains, you will be able to carry on bikes. So you could easily, Katja, to answer or to speak a bit about what you said earlier, you could go from Cologne to Oldenburg, for example, and with one change in Hamburg with your bike, right? And then use your bike from there, for example. So could either do the entire trip to Copenhagen, but you could also these kinds of stops. And I think, Bettina, to answer to your question, this is absolutely right. This is where it gets interesting. But like I said, I see two interesting things. I think from further away, you can now use these stops on a more regular basis in better comfort and longer trains with more capacity. That's really important. But on the other hand, also the hinterland traffic needs to be built out. Yeah, there will be electrification. There was no electrification in Southern Zealand. Martin, you know that, right? And all of that will be built out thanks to that project. So it is much more than, let's say, just the high-speed line that connects Hamburg to Copenhagen will have a positive impact on all the smaller traffic around it as well.
Thank you, Daniel, for the detailed information. I would now like to, Martin wants to share something as well before I then hand over to Katja for a difference or a subject that goes on the constructor side. Oh, please, everyone, could you mute? Could you put out your off your microphone? Otherwise, I will mute you individually. So now, Martin.
The whole point of my discussion about the public transportation linked to the Great Fehmarnbelt link is that we look at this link positive, but we need to work together with private and public organization to make sure that it's not only about going fast from Hamburg to Copenhagen, and our destination will be, you know, gasoline and ice cream shop. That's all they need from us, and then you just pass by. So that's what I think we all have to plan, and I'm sure we can, because we have the best products in the world. But that was my point. Thank you, Bettina.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Very important. Dear Katja, in your remarks, you mentioned something very interesting concerning the construction side of the fixed Fehmarnbelt link. I mean, we now have this 2029 perspective and a lot of work to be done until the fixed Fehmarnbelt will be ready to be used. But what can we do in between? How can we already profit from this construction site? Do you see anything for your region? So, wir können dich noch nicht hören, liebe Katja. Wir brauchen noch...
Sorry, I have to open my microphone. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we most we will have we will profit when the fixed link is ready. But until that, there are also some opportunities. We continue to expect positive effects from a construction site that is visited by engineers as well as by interested guests. In this respect, the experiences of Ms. Kemperman and the Elfi construction site are also very interesting. But of course, the construction site cannot be compared, but the approach is, of course, also interested for us. In 2016, we made a potential study, and they prognosed or they made a forecast about a volume of 100,000 visitors and 10,000 specialist visitors, which could come and have a look at the construction site. And these results in a sales potential means nearly 3 million euros per year. So that's a little opportunity. But it's very important to see how we can attract this construction site, because there's nothing really seen. So we have to look how we can do that with virtual or virtual reality or however. So this is a big challenge we will have. But I can imagine that that many people are interested to see what will happen in our region.
Mm-hmm. What would be your wish if to make it more visible? Do you want KI, 3D construction models? I mean, we'll look for what Hamburg did, but do you have an idea? I mean, we have wonderful Regina Persch from our state parliament here with us. We have other important people sharing. So what would be your wish?
Well, I think it would be nice to see if we can go underground, under the water, to see if there's something to see or not. Or maybe we can use a drone to fly over, you know. And when I went on a holiday when I was very young, we had these glass bottom boats. So why not traveling with a boat along? And of course, to have a good information center. And I know there's an information center already on Fehmarn we can use for that. And I think we can try to use videos and photos and other things. It's always to have the experience of nothing to see, and and therefore we should use the KI or your all the technical digitalization we can have.
Thank you, Katja. she had been just mentioned, our wonderful colleague Melanie from our famous city of Hamburg. We want to always learn from the best. We want to learn from our neighbors. And the city of Hamburg had a big construction site for quite some years and has now the unique landmark of the city, the beautiful Elbphilharmonie Hamburg. Dear Melanie, tell us about the projects, the experiences. What did you do to make this construction site positive for most of the people, despite some subjects we don't want to mention? That's yours.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, nice to be here. Yeah, I'm sure that most of you do know the Elbphilharmonie as a project and especially as a concert hall. But otherwise, just a very few facts. So the architects Herzog und Dümmeron constructed like a shimmering glass wave on a solid brick warehouse from the 60s. We opened in 2017. And after a construction period of about 10 years, so we had quite some time to do some marketing, PR, and guided tours and things like this on the construction site. To the project, again, it's not only a concert hall, as you might know, but we also have like a touristical platform in the middle of the building between the glass, new glass building on the top. I'll show you some photos later, and the warehouse. And there's also a hotel in the house, a restaurant, we have a souvenir shop, and the distribution to all these areas is the so-called plaza, so this on 37 meters, where you have the main entrance to the hotel, but also the concert halls. So during these more or less 10 years period of construction from 7 to 17, we had to accept some challenges due to problems of increasing costs, delay in the construction progress. So there was a lot of distrust and negative opinion about the project. That's why we had to respond to this with a maximum of transparency anyway and accessibility to the construction, so that at least that was all we can do. To show even if there were problems in the contract, as you might know, and things like this, we really wanted to act to show that we do not have to hide anything in the construction site or in our communication or whatever. So we really tried to be as accessible, as transparent as possible. And this fitted very well together also with our aim anyway to communicate the Elbphilharmonie as a real place for everyone, as a concert hall, but really, really open and democratic. And so this fitted very well together with the idea of opening the construction site already. So we started really a campaign already during the period of the construction site to and try to make sure that the building was made accessible step by step whenever a part of the house was ready or even accessible. So that was like a campaign of a real slow approach to the heart of the building, because that of course was the final end of it, the opening concert in the grand concert hall in the middle of the building in 2017. So I brought you some pictures I'm gonna share with you. So that's, that was, as I said, the Keilspeicher A, the old warehouse where everything started on. So that's how it looked afterward. And then, we started with many guided tours through the construction site, and we made it up to 160,000 people we guided through the construction site in 6 years with yellow rubber boots and helmets, of course. And that was I can only say everybody who was, even if he was so negative about the project before, whenever he he left the building after this tour. He was really turned around, and we made nearly everybody to be a fan and promoter of the project, because I don't know if it's, maybe that's, I hope for your construction site too, maybe. It is the fascination of a construction site in general, I think, but of course also because of the very special architecture and the fascination of the materials. But I think still there is, the most important thing is that there is a kind of curiosity and interest already to see something growing, to see something being made by hand, and which, so everybody was really impressed by this. Then we had an information pavilion as well, with a 1 to 10 acoustic model in the top, as you see a little bit, in very close to the construction site, where we also started the tours, which was a very good spot for things like this. Then I think one interesting part also was that we had no VIP topping out ceremony, but a really open day for people from the city of Hamburg and everywhere. We had 5,500 guests this day for the ceremony, and really opened the whole house already to the public, which was, I think, a very impressive experience already that day. And we did concerts in front of the construction site. If it wasn't possible, or wasn't already possible inside, we at least did it outside with a lot of success. And we did multimedia shows, projects, musical projects already in the parking area, in the construction site, and concerts. And then we, for example, which would be maybe interesting for you too, we had many cooperations with Google. For example, we already had Google Street View in the construction site even before the opening, and then we had a 360-degree concert for it with Google at the day of the opening concert. And so there was many different projects, but all really to with the aim really to open the construction site and have people already in the building, even if it wasn't ready at that time. And then, of course, we had these signalizations at the end here, very easy, simple. It's called "Ready" on the side of the hotel. And then, of course, a light show for the opening with the music inside, corresponding to the music inside. But that's of course only the last day of it. And that's the building today. And as Bettina said, we are really thankful how great people really find this project and really come from all over the world. We had already 10 million visitors after 2 years, were sold out, I think, until Corona came, nearly every day. Maybe there were 2 or 3 concerts not sold out, which is really great for a cultural institution still. And so we hope it's going on like this, and that's but at the moment we are very positively, of course, because now we can open again. And we hope this success will continue now. And of course wish you also maybe a little shorter time of construction, or at least it's the same time, but it's a more complex building still, our construction site, I think, as we had. But I'm sure definitely there will also be a lot of possibilities and ideas to make the construction site attractive to the public and open it up already.
Thank you so much, dear Melanie. I'm still getting goosebumps when I see these pictures and when I remember the the hearts bumping for the opening, and it had been a tough time. And two questions from my side for you. You told us that incredible 160,000 people visited the construction site during these years. Were there any security problems? Did you have, was it difficult to get them all organized? I mean, we saw them in rubber boots and with the helmets, but I mean that concerning the building procedure, it's not easy in between to have those visitors, students, architects, whoever wants to join. How did you manage, and what was, had there been security problems?
No, they hadn't. Very, very few people sometimes broke out from these tours, but normally it was, and I think one or two we had to find somewhere in the building. But I mean, it were like groups of about 20 people. I think we had the most of the time with one guide, and they really had to meet at this information point, and they went together to the construction site, of course, and they had to stay together. And there were definitely no problems. I mean, it was really we had a team of people, really employees who did these tours for the 6 years. So it was really a bunch of people only doing this every day for us. And of course, they had to talk to the people from the construction site every morning. Which way can we take today? Which areas are open or can be prepared to be open to the guided tours? And there was it was a very, very much work of coordination between the people from the construction site and our guides to see it every morning. But at least everybody felt that it was made sense and was necessary. But it's quite a lot of work to coordinate it, to make it safe, of course, for the people. And sometimes there were no elevators to take. Then you had it was only possible to take stairs, like to the 15th floor or something. So it was a bit of a surprise every day, which way you can choose or which area you can visit. But people were thankful for whatever they can see, can see.
Yeah, thank you. What kind of recommendations do you have for us, for the fixed Fehmarnbelt people? If I look at Martin from the one side, if I look at Katja from the other side, what do you think are the big success factors every construction site should maybe have? Or what's your personal recommendation for us to do?
Yeah, I think it really has to be now more than at that time. You have to find the right balance between materials and real construction site and VR and technical ideas like drones or shows or videos on the other side. But still, I think this feeling of, for example, if it will be possible one day to go downstairs under the earth in the tunnel a tiny little bit and see the big machines and really the tough stuff, the handy stuff. This you should keep, I think, for these ideas of construction site tourism. And on the other side, of course, now there are many possibilities with technical gadgets and VR, and to have working groups together. I think very nice would be to have really always to think these two cultures together and to have a lot of exchange between young people and to really make it attractive and looking forward to be closer to each other and be faster to visit one to the other side. And that you could already start with artists from Denmark on open air stage in front of the German construction site, or with cooperations on each in each level and group of people.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise, my dear Melanie. And the last personal question, are you going tonight to the concert hall? And what's going on tonight for the reopening?
Yes, of course I'm going. Yeah. Yes, it's a very interesting project with Thomas Hansen about Black music, Black composers from America, which we wanted to originally to only send as a streaming next weekend, so you can still see it as a streaming. 3 concerts from this Black music series the next day, starting tomorrow, I think. And now we have on top the live event tonight. So it's
wonderful.
A great project.
We all envy you, and but
it was never easier to get some good tickets. We're gonna tomorrow we're gonna start the selling of our whole summer program from July and August. So there will be a bunch of tickets, very good tickets, and you still have a lot of space. You have 2 seats on each side next to you free, and only a third of the capacity will be seated. So it's I liked the experience before because it's a lot of fresh air all around. So just come and be together with other people again in a live concert.
Thank you so much, dear Melanie. Let's make a last round here with the other panelists. Dear Daniel, you now live in Schleswig-Holstein. You lived in many different places. What are your projects, or maybe also your wish for the fixed Fehmarn Belt link? What do you want to see in 2029 or in the upcoming years?
Well,
what are you doing?
I hope I get an extra stop near my house, obviously, like everybody. That would be ideal. No, to be honest, like you said, I lived between Paris and London for the last decade, and I'm just so enjoying being back home. And I mean, sun is out, like Martin said, I'm enjoying the lakes, I'm enjoying the Baltic Sea. It's just such a beautiful spot. And in the future, what you said, I'm planning to be very close to the infrastructure mobility topics of Schleswig-Holstein to make that place as accessible as possible.
Good luck.
Well,
we cross fingers
for
you. Yes. So let's hop over to Mern. Let's hop over to maybe Copenhagen. You are probably at the moment. I don't know, dear Martin. Where are you? Where are you at the moment?
I'm at home in Copenhagen.
In Copenhagen.
Yes.
So what's the situation for the tourism at the moment? You reopened the tourism industry. Are people coming to Sydkyst, Denmark, to Copenhagen? And what are your plans for the future?
Yes, I mean, first of all, thank you, Melanie, for showing us what it used to be going out together with a lot of people. I really miss culture and being together with people at festivals and openings and so on. I mean, last year showed us how important it is that we have a tourist product outside the big cities because nobody dared to go to the big cities. And this summer will be pretty much the same picture, especially in Denmark, where Copenhagen is depending so much on international tourism. So we will have a acceptable summer in our destination, mainly because of domestic tourism. The problem in Denmark right now is that the government will not open the borders, for example, to our friends in Sweden and in Germany. And in my destination, more than 30% of our normal tourism year is foreign tourists. So we really miss you guys, and we hope that the borders will open real soon. What I would like to just add to this panel discussion is that I hope also that post-Corona, when everything is back to new normal, I hope that we can start collaborating towards across the FEMA belt, aiming for 2029 being a new international destination, so that when we people are flying into Europe to Hamburg and Copenhagen, they look at the FEMA destination and they will really like to discover all our magic and everything we have in nature and coast. The Ostsee, or I don't know, I have a real name for it, but I think we have so much in common, especially our history and culture, all the way back to the Vikings and so on. And today we like quality, we like service, and we like good food, and we really have something to offer together. So when a guy from Shanghai or from New York or even Rio de Janeiro are thinking, where should I go with my family? They should think our destination, because we have enough to offer them for a whole week. They shouldn't go to the southern parts of France or Toscana in Italy or the Riviera or whatever. They should go and stay with us. I think if we work together, we could create something really, really beautiful. And that is in international tourist perspective. When we talk locally, we are, of course, neighbors and competitors, and it will stay that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much, Martin, for your global perspective. If I look at Schleswig-Holstein, we only have 7 to 8% overnights from abroad. So there is still a long way to go, but we have to think big. And that's important. And then you look from...
Yeah.
What did you say?
Game changer.
Game changer. As Katja said.
Is the game changer that will make us work together.
Yeah. Yeah, and Katja, you have probably the same global vision as well, but you also have can share a little bit about the actual situation at the moment in your destination here at the Baltic Sea. How is life after the reopening of the whole region on May 17th?
Well, I think you also know that quite good. I can say based on our experience, we made. I think we can say that the tourism branch is not a pandemic driver. We made model regions, selected regions, which opened before, and we looked very close what was going on there. So, in addition to the vaccination and test strategy, there are good distance and hygiene concepts, and travelers can be safe in our region. So it's really good to go here on a holiday. And of course, as Martin says, a lot of people coming from domestic. So we are a little bit afraid that it will be very crowded here in summertime. We would be more happy if people then come to the other times, but we have to see. And we have to see how we can organize people going on the beach, that it's not so crowded. Maybe they go to other places, and we are trying to force that in the marketing, that people are also going to the Holsteinische Schweiz, of course, because it's very beautiful there. They have a lot of lakes and possibilities to cycle or whatever. And I think what is also important for us, that we should do more research in order to know the spreading effects of COVID in a destination, because we are selling vacations, and this feeling is very important for the people. The times in our destination should be as relaxable as possible, and how can we reach that even in COVID period? So my plan is to have more research to see how we can organize good and relaxable holiday times, even in this very critical phase we have at the moment.
Yeah, thank you so much for this important statement, dear Katja. And do you have a final word concerning the Fehmarn-Belt link, your wish for the upcoming years?
Oh, well, I'm really looking forward to have a big collaboration with you, Martin, and with the DZT and with Bettina and Melanie, and maybe also with Daniel, because I think we've got a lot of ideas and we've got, you know, Interact things where we can maybe get some money and start a big collaboration for international and cycling tourism. And I think this is very exciting, and therefore I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. And I see Bo Schow-Lauritsen, our head of the German National Tourist Office in Copenhagen, selling Germany to the Danish guests. And he nodded. Bo, do you want to share something with us at the final comment?
Of course. I don't know if you can hear me, but
Yes.
okay, great. Yes, of course, I would like to share my joy to this mega project and also to see how we are all networking at the moment. That's great, because I think we must be very good prepared to have the right products, but also know our target groups, not only in our neighboring countries, but also overseas. This is a huge potential that we have before us. So the better we learn to know each other, the better we can also set up our products and our marketing for the future. So I'm looking very much forward to working with the strategy with all of you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Mange tak. Yeah, I'm looking here in the chat. We don't have any questions to the panel. Maybe some comments. I know the sun is shining outside, and hopefully we will have a wonderful afternoon or evening outside in our regions. If there aren't any more questions or comments from our wonderful audience, still 44 people joining us, then we are sending all the greetings from Copenhagen to Lübeck, from Fehmarn to Bad Segeberg, from Göll and Hamburg and Stockholm, so all over the place. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you all, dear panelists, for sharing your expertise, sharing your comments, and I would like to say goodbye, auf Wiedersehen, wie es? And hope to see you all in the near future somewhere in person, and let's meet to collaborate, and let's see the construction site, the fixed Fehmarn Belt link progressing, and joining us all in a united Europe and in a wonderful place to be. Thank you so much. Vielen Dank. Tschüss. Alles Gute.
Farewell. Wie
Tschüss.
Tschüss.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Tschüss an alle.